I'm trying to adjust this here. Okay. Um, Good morning. Happy Tuesday. I see some of my hair is doing something crazy here. Oh, that's okay. Um, Hope you all had a good Monday. Um, so we have a short week today. Already it's Tuesday. Um, it's kind of overcast here. Kind of not really hot, not really cold, just sort of something. Um, but not too bad either. So we can just sit and breathe for a little bit while we wait till our 5 minutes passed. Um, we're going to talk about Niyamas today. I'll probably put another link up at the on the channel. So if you weren't here last week when we were talking about it, there is a in the about section on the channel here. There's a place to put links. So I put some to some information that might be helpful about yamas, and there's some recipes, links to recipes if you're interested in, doing some Ayurvedic cooking. And typically you're going to find when you look at like yoga or Ayurvedic, it's all going to be vegetarian. And I mean, for good reason, because, well, for one thing, I mean, Ayurveda is sort of this traditional kind of medicine, but also kind of lifestyle. Um, and it came from India, that has traditionally a lot of vegetarian. Um, it's just traditionally a lot of the areas are vegetarian. So the same thing with the spices and everything. It's very, generally speaking, it's very Indian influenced. Um, Also, that more people. So vegetarian is better tolerated by more people than um, necessarily meat. That's not to say that meat, there aren't some people that do very well on meat and even better maybe on meat than strict vegetarian. That's certainly true. Um, if you're talking about a wide range of people, more people tolerate vegetables and vegetable protein as a rule. So if you're going to make a wide reaching sort of um, recipe plan, then you probably, with Ayurveda, you're going to focus more on vegetables and beans and um, those type of proteins than meat per se. So let's see. Hello, Dora. Hi, Deb. Hi, Sue. Hi, Barbara. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff um, with Ayurveda. They are so Ayurveda is very focused on this idea of digestion, and that digesting in general is, one of our, like, it's one of the processes in our body that is the most important. Not just food, but that when our body is operating at an optimal level, we are digesting everything um, well. So food, information, um, you could even think of your relationships in terms of sort of digesting. Like, are you able to, you know, deal with what you're getting from different relationships? And, what are you then putting out as well? Um, and our body is, that's kind of what we do in so many senses. We're taking in some things and we are releasing other things, breath and all of our different processes that you have going on. And when one of those is out of alignment, it tends to affect everything else. So we kind of go one step at a time, right? Starting with the most basic and the easiest, really. Like, I mean, changing your diet is hard, but it's also really easy, right? Because it's very clear what you need to do. When you talk about, um, changing your relationship or um, thinking about, how you might be able to um, change kind of your mindset so that you can, um, comprehend things better or have more understanding about the world around you. Those are kind of high concept things, and we're not always sure how to go about doing that. Um, but a good place to start any kind of change like that is these basics, which is food, right? And we start with that. Very simple, right? You don't have a lot of questions about it. This is something you should eat. This is something you should probably not eat. Doesn't mean we're going to follow it. Doesn't mean adherence to it is not necessarily easy, but the understanding of it is very easy. And it's also very um, you get almost instantaneous feedback, right? If you do have any sort of food sensitivities, you'll know just what I mean. As soon as you eat whatever that is, within a few minutes or an hour or something, you're going to start feeling not great. Um, so that's a great way to start if you are trying to think about making some kind of change in the body, change in um, that sort of food thing. Ayurveda is not a bad place to start. Um, so we're kind of ready. This kind of ties in with what we were going to talk about with niyamas. So I'm gonna go a little further with this. So in Ayurveda, we there's three basic uh, what they call constitutions. There is what they call vata, pitta, and kapha. So they're kind of roughly aligned with elements. So if you know anything about sort of the element theory of the world being broken into like water, fire, air, earth, these different components that go together to kind of build everything in the world. Um, these are it's kind of aligned with that. So vata is sort of air, pitta is fire, um, fire and something else. No, I can't think of it. I don't know. Kapha is water and earth. So, um, and these three elements, we are rarely just one. We are usually a combination um, of these. And we have a couple different ways of looking at it. So we start out maybe as one thing. Morning, Linda. Um, and our basic constitution may be sort of this one thing. Again, usually a combination. So, for instance, I'm kapha pitta or pitta kapha. And then some people are sort of vata pitta or vata, I guess vata kapha is kind of a common one. Um, And when you're looking at kind of your basic structure, you can, body structure is one sort of clue to that. So people who are larger, more, heavy boned, tend to have more kapha. They are more kaphic. People that are very slight, very thin and petite are more on the vata um, scheme of things. And then people that are kind of medium, more pitta. Um, Pitta is also very active, very kind of fiery. People with, really intense personalities. A lot of times, that's a very pitta quality. Um, People who are kind of laid back and relaxed, pretty solid. That's a couple more kaphic. And then vata is kind of high strung, kind of nervous, anxious. So and we can have combinations of all of these things. But there are certain types of foods that are more appropriate for um, different body types. Also, stages of life. So, when children are more kaphic, right? They're growing, they're more kind of easygoing, and that's a thing. As we get into the middle years, we're more pitta, right? We're more focused, we're more driven, and we tend to be a little more intense about things. And then in the later years, we get kind of phatic, right? And there are things that um, kind of happen to the body. You get kind of drier, and um, as you get older, and um, people sometimes start experiencing some anxiety and some um, mental stuff like that they maybe never did when they start to get to age. So there are different stages of life with this as well. Um, so there's a lot to it. But we'll probably, if you do look at the thing about the Ayurvedic recipes, it'll probably have a little bit about that. But we'll touch more on that. And if you have questions about that specifically, send me an email or something. We can kind of discuss some of that. But the first niyama is called Saucha, and it's cleanliness and purification. So seems also pretty straightforward, right? Being clean, taking care of your body, um, taking care of your environment, trying to keep things clean, um, but also this idea of purification of the body and the mind and all of this. So trying to have inputs that are positive, trying to um, not put yourself in an environment that is damaging. I mean, we all know what this is about in a very simple way, right? I mean, people who are damaging to your to your calm and your um, that they are sort of doing their thing that's kind of crazy, and you're kind of like, oh my gosh. Um, Trying to avoid that, trying to avoid being drawn into other people's chaos, um, trying to keep keep your mind, out of that particular place. And we all have, our own little things that we get into. As a kid, well, I still kind of do love horror movies, right? And I don't know really what I like about them so much, but in a certain kind, like creepy horror, not like gore horror. But I also know that it's not a great influence. It's you're kind of getting into the kind of the baser elements when you're kind of getting that sort of stirred up, right? So I try to limit that. I understand what that's about, and I understand that it's enjoyable to me, but it's also probably not very healthy for me. Um, so I don't indulge in that too often. And you may have other things like that as well that you find are fun, but ultimately not very good for you. Um, so purification is maybe a process of finding those things and finding how you can limit them, or perhaps enjoy them, in a smaller quantity so that they aren't weighing down on you. Um, Another thing that we talk about with this is just trying to maybe elevate our now I've lost my train of thought. I'm thinking about horror movies. Oh, okay. So uh, our body is, kind of self-maintaining in this, and people talk about going to cleanses and things like that. I'm going to do this cleanse. I'm going to do this, and in Ayurveda, we do, especially in the spring, they do something called a cleanse, but what it is hi, Anne. What it is offering a very limited um, food. So, and I don't mean limited like quantity, but it's what they call khichdi, and it's basically beans and rice, like lentils and rice, in kind of like a porridge type of thing. So it's very simple, very easy to digest. You're not putting a lot of demands on the body, so you're basically giving your body the most basic food that you can, just to sort of keep yourself alive. But it's so easy to digest, um, that your body can spend a lot of time doing other things, doing all these processes. So your body is self-maintaining, self-regulating. You don't need to take a whole bunch of different things to cleanse yourself. You don't have to starve to cleanse yourself. None of these things are necessary. Um, but what is maybe necessary is to think about, what are you putting into the body, right? If you are overloading the body with a lot of sugar, a lot of weird things that you've never eaten before, a lot of strange foods, that can be a lot of work for your body to just digest that stuff. Um, and all that time that your body's taking to digest this, it doesn't have time to do the other jobs that it's supposed to do. So, one thing that they speak about a lot in Ayurveda is timing of your meals. So, you don't want to, in Ayurveda, you don't eat between meals, no snacking at all. You eat 3 meals a day, you eat that meal, and you're done. And ideally, you have, your lightest meal in the evening, so that your body has this whole long stretch of time from dinner to breakfast to really digest and digest the food, and then do whatever maintenance that the body needs to do while you're sleeping, um, with a nice empty stomach. And that is the ideal, right? But it doesn't work for all of us. A lot of people work late. I mean, you can't necessarily do that, but trying to stick to that as much as you can. And again, knowing these things, we can make better choices. We won't always stick to it, but knowing that in your head, like, okay, well, this is what I might want to do. This is what my body might want me to do. It will help. So, by then allowing your body to have that ability to do that, then this kind of process of digestion, of cleaning the internal part of the body, can happen without a lot of interference. And that's, again, like, a lot of times that's what happens is, these processes that your body wants to be doing, we are the ones that cause the problem, right? We stay up too late. We eat garbage. We're getting in our own way. Um, so a lot of what we want to do is to become aware of where we are getting in our own way. And how can we step out of that and allow the body to kind of move toward the state of um, being more clean, being more pure. Um, I mean, it's worth a try. But I got to tell you, it's hard. It's hard to do all of these things. I mean, you know this, and maybe this time when everyone's doing things a little slower, it's a little easier. But when you're busy, when you're working, a lot of hours and running a million errands, and it is very hard. But something Ayurveda really stresses is that you gotta have a schedule. You gotta be on some kind of a schedule when it comes to eating and sleeping and doing all these things. If you don't do that, it'll all just, it's just one thing after another, right? You'll, everything's going to suffer. So, um, even if it's your own schedule, right? Everyone's schedule is going to be different. Some people work late. My son works nights, right? So that's crazy, but he's got a very set schedule. He goes to bed at the same time, gets up at the same time, even though it's crazy to me. And I barely see him. He does have a very regular life for his schedule. So figure out what will work for you. It's not going to be the same as what works for me or anyone else, but your body will thank you. Okay, let's do some yoga. So we're sitting up. We're going to drop the head down. And just let the head hang here for a few breaths. And then we're lifting up, lift the chin, head drops back. Head to center, take a breath, and then lower the head over to the right. Back to center and moving to the left. Back to center. Let's walk the hands out a little bit. And then behind, fingers pointing away from the body. Squeeze the shoulders together, gaze up. Back to center, arms wide. Deep breath in, and then exhale, hands together. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more inhale. Exhale, interlace the fingers, lift the hands, gaze up, and then arms down by your side. Inhale, lift. Lower. Lift. And lower. Once more, lifting up. Right hand comes down, reach across. Switch. Back up, left hand on right knee, right arm behind. Sit up tall, take a twist. Back to center, switch sides. Back to center. tabletop. And then child's pose. Coming back up. Tabletop, we'll move through some cat-cow. Lowering the belly, lift the head, and then reverse that. Flip the toes here, and we're going to come back up, tabletop or downward dog. Bicycle it out. And then stepping the feet up to the hands. We'll be in a fold. Rising up. Standing tall. Deep breath in and out. Inhale. Lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step back with the right. Set your knee down, arms overhead. Hands to the mat, stepping back. Downward dog. Inhale, high plank. And then lower down. Inhale, just lift up, head and chest. Then lower. Inhale, lift. And lower. One more. Lifting up. And lower down. And then we're going to start coming back up, tabletop, downward dog. Keep breathing. Take one more breath. Then we're going to step right foot up. Set your left knee down, arms overhead. And then hands to the mat. Step up the back foot and fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift arms high. Back to mountain. Take a breath. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, left foot steps back. Drop your knee. Arms overhead. Hands to the mat. Moving back. Downward dog. Inhale, high plank. Lower down. Inhale, head and chest. Lower. Inhale, head and chest. And lower. Last one, head and chest or upward dog. Moving back. Downward dog. One more breath. Left foot steps up. Right knee down, arms overhead. And then hands down to the mat. Step the back foot up. And fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift arms high. Back to mountain. Take a breath. In and out. Let's go through that one more time. Inhale. Lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, right foot steps back. Drop your knee. Arms overhead. Hands down to the mat. Stepping back. Downward dog. Inhale, high plank. Lower down. Inhale, head and chest. Lower. Inhale, lifting head and chest. Last one, either head and chest or upward dog. Moving back, downward dog. One more breath. Then step right foot up. Arms overhead. Hands down to the mat. Back foot steps up. Fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift high. Back to mountain. Take a breath. Lift on an inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, left foot steps back. Drop your knee. Arms overhead. Hands to the mat. Stepping back. Downward dog. Inhale, high plank. And lower down. Inhale, lifting up head and chest. And lower. Inhale, lift. Lower. Last one. Head and chest or upward dog. Moving to downward dog. Take one more breath. Left foot steps up. Drop the right knee. Arms overhead. And then hands to the mat. Back foot steps up. And fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Lifting the arms on the inhale. And then back to mountain. Take a breath. All right, everybody should be nice and warmed up by now, right? And let's do some balance. Tree standing on the left. Got that right foot coming in. Right knee rotates out to the side. Standing tall. Steady breath. Keeping that gaze steady helps the focus. And then bring the foot down. We'll switch sides. So we're standing now on the right, bringing in the left, standing tall. Breathe. And then set the foot down. Bicycle legs. And then we're just going to lift up, bring hands to the waist. We're going to lift up the right leg. So foot is flexed. Nice and strong. And set it down. Let's switch. Left leg lifts. And set the foot down. Bicycle legs. And we're going to step out into Warrior 3. Hands together. Take a breath. Stepping out left foot. We're lifting up the right as we lean forward. Steady here. Keeping hands to center, or maybe airplane arms, if that helps you. But just moving slowly and deliberately, keeping the breath moving through the body. And then set your foot down. And we're going to do the same on the other side. So hands to center, step out with the right. We're leaning forward, lifting that back leg. And breathe. So if you're just lifting a little, you're just leaning forward a little. Find that balance. And then set your foot down, bicycle out the legs. And let's come on back to the mat. Arms overhead. Let's interlace the fingers, flip the palms. Kind of stretch, maybe lean back a little. Fold forward. Inhale, flat back. On the exhale, we're stepping back. Downward dog. Inhale, come on forward to high plank. Let's hold here. And lower down. Unless you want to hold somewhere, you can. All right, head turns to the right. Arms by your side. Take a few breaths. Then bring your head back to center. We're going to set up for Sphinx. So we've got the arms come in front. We're going to kind of prop ourselves up on the elbows. Forearms, hands resting on the mat. Pull the shoulders back. And we're just kind of lifting up. So you may be down here, and that's fine, right? If you can't be any higher than this, then don't worry about it. Just be where you are. If you are higher, we're going to start drawing the shoulders back. So instead of having the shoulders bringing in, we're pulling them back. Press down with the hands. Steady gaze. And then just lower down. Head turns left. Arms by your sides again. Maybe toes in, heels out. Maybe heels in, toes out. Pick your favorite. And then bring your head back to center. We're going to lift up head and chest and the arms and the legs. And lower down. Let's bring the hands in front. We're just going to rest the chin or the forehead on the hands. Bring the legs a little wider on the mat, maybe. And just breathe for a little bit. Feel that compression of the floor on the chest. So see if you can kind of focus the breath into the back body, the side body. And then we're moving back up. Tabletop, child's pose. Tabletop, downward dog. And then walk up a little bit. We're going to come down to a seat on the mat. Soles of the feet together. Sitting up tall, folding forward. Back up. Let's bring the legs wide. And then you can come forward, hands on the legs, hands out in front, whatever you want to do. Just coming down to that place where things get tight. And then just kind of hold here and breathe. Back up. Bring the legs a little closer so you're about maybe the width of your mat apart. Right foot comes in by the thigh. We're going to sit up tall here and then turn to face the left leg, the torso. Arms overhead, deep breath. Fold forward. And then walk your hands back up. Switch sides. Turning to face that right leg. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Walk the hands back up. Both legs out in front. Arms up. Deep breath. Fold forward. Come on back up. We're going to bring the left hand to the outside of the right knee, right arm behind you. Sit up tall, take a twist. Back to center and switch sides. Back to center. We're going to do a cow face pose. So left leg is going to fold so that you have the knee facing out. The foot is back toward the right hip. Right leg over top. So you want to kind of try to get one knee on top of another as much as you can. Take a hold of a foot in each hand if you can, and then we're folding forward. So if you aren't very far with this, don't worry, right? We're just going for this stretch. If you're doing something that doesn't hurt you, but that you feel some stretch here, it's fine. If your legs back here, whatever, it's all good. So what we do in these poses is great for everybody, but not everybody's going to be able to get right into the pose. We just do what we can. And then we're going to switch. That's why I like to make sure to tell you guys what we're trying to do so that you know when you're there. And sometimes it doesn't take much to get there. Breath in and fold. And then back up. Let's do one more fold, both legs out in front. Breath in, hold forward. Come on back up. We're going to bend the knees. Soles of the feet to the mat. Give yourself some room so that you can lower down or rock back. Still be on your mat. Take a moment to get comfortable on your back. And then we're going to bring the right ankle up on top of left knee. You might stay here. That's a lot already. On the hip, or we're going to draw the left thigh in closer to the body. If you want a little extra here, you can always extend the leg, the left leg. And then we'll set it back down, switch sides. Whatever we did on the one side, we'll do on this one as well. And then set both feet back down on the mat. Take a couple of breaths. We're going to set up for bridge. So heels back close to the body, hands by your side, palms resting on the mat. And then we're going to press down with the hands and the feet, lifting up the hips. Breathe. And then when you're ready, lowering down. We're going to bring soles of the feet together, knees apart. Take a few breaths. Knees to center. Let's rock a little bit side to side. And then arms to a T or goalpost arms. We'll start lowering both knees over to the right. Back to center and then moving to the left. And then back to center. We're going to extend the legs straight up. Hands by your side, palms resting on the mat. And then as you want to, lowering down, one leg, both together. However you want to get there. So you're resting on the mat in a comfortable place for your Shavasana. Find that peace and steadiness with the breath. So we've done a little work with the body. It's ready for a rest. Focusing the mind. Hopefully we've been kind of keeping that focus on the breath and the movements. So it's ready to kind of be at peace for a little bit anyway. Keep breathing. Feel that support of the mat beneath you. Feel yourself just sort of sinking down into the mat. Breathing in that sense of peace and well-being. Breathing out any worries or concerns. So at a time when everything is changing, it's so important to stay in touch with what is eternal, that spirit within. So regardless of what's happening around you, you are the same. You have that same spirit, that same spark of the divine. It is eternal. It is unchanging. That strength is always there. That support is always there, no matter what. So let that be your source of strength, your security. We build ourselves structures that we think are our security, jobs, money in the bank, even relationships. Um, and they may give us some security and some stability, but in the end, everything changes. Everything becomes something different. People come and go in our life. Jobs come and go. Money comes and goes. Um, the security you are looking for is within. You don't have to do anything to find it. It's already there. Um, it's something we all have. You don't need to do something to earn it. You don't need to uh, do something to deserve it. We all have it just as our birthright. It is part of who we are. It is who we are. So, in a world where everything can change in a moment, hold on to that as your security. So, when you're ready now, moving a little, fingers and toes, hands and feet, stretching if you feel like it. And then bringing knees into the chest, maybe rock side to side, over onto the right side, or however you want to do it. Coming up to a seat. We'll have hands to center, Take a deep breath in and out. Thank you for taking some time this morning for yoga, for sharing it with me here virtually. And I hope you have a really great rest of the day. Namaste. Thank you. So, have a good day. Enjoy your Tuesday. I am probably going to post a link. I'll post a link with some more information about Ayurveda. And I might put something about the cleanse. It's a little late in the spring to be doing the cleanse, but you could really do it anytime. It's also really helpful. Khichdi, that recipe, is super helpful for anybody who is sick. So if you are feeling under the weather, if you know someone who is, I know that, this time of year. Oh, you're welcome, Anne. People come down with stuff, you get a stomach bug, whatever, you need something that's easy to digest. This is a great alternative to like soup or something like that. So I'll put it up there if you need it. Okay, so I will be back tomorrow and hope to see some of you then. Anybody have a question or anything? Where's the link? So if you go to the channel, there should be a tab that says about, right? Because there's some tabs that as you go across, they have like playlists and different things. And one of them, I believe, says about. Yeah, and so if you click on that about tab, at the very bottom, it has a little section that says links. Now I'm not sure if maybe that's just for people that have subscribed. I will have to check on that. It's hard to say because when I look at it, I can only look at it from my viewpoint. I have to get somebody else to look at it to see what someone who's not me can see. So yeah, I'll let you know, Deb, if that doesn't work. I'll have my son or somebody try logging in who isn't subscribed, and then he can see if he can see those links. I think maybe you can, but I'll let you know. Okay, and if not, I can always send it out in an email too. All right, well, I'll be back tomorrow.